The Baal Shem Tov taught us that the word Torah means teaching, and that every detail of the Torah comes to teach us something about every detail of our lives. We learn in the Torah that God created man, put him in the world on the sixth day of creation. And the reason he created man was to improve the world. Man was supposed to be the crown of creation. Man was created in the image of God. What does this mean? God hasn't got an image. The Torah tells us clearly that it's forbidden to say that God has any image whatsoever. This is idolatry. But on the other hand, it says the man is created in the image of God. What does it mean? When God created the world, it said that the world was like heaven on earth, Gan Eden. And God put man into the world to improve Gan Eden, to improve heaven. Because heaven is just a creation of God. Heaven, as spiritual as it is, can be very confusing. It can make a person think that the main thing in life is personal pleasure, even personal spiritual pleasure. And God put man into the world to use his free will and say, I'm opting out of personal pleasure. I want to give pleasure to the Creator. I am going to do what God wants, not what I want. And God said, oh yeah, let's see. From all the trees you're going to eat, but don't eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And Adam saw that the tree was good. His wife showed it to him, and suddenly he had this inner conflict to do what's good for me or to do what God told me. And the more he thought about it, the more he realized that being good to me, that's what God wants. And he ate from the tree, and that confused his decisions to the point where he said, I'd rather be in heaven than to do what God wants. And that is the beginning of all the other religions in the world. All of them want heaven. It mixed up good and bad. It mixed up selfishness and godliness to the point where even if people want to serve God, heaven gets in the way. And that's the test that Adam failed. And the one that Abraham, it had to wait for 2,000 years until Abraham came along, and Abraham really began the Chassidic movement, a movement of self-sacrifice, doing what's good for God, even though it seems to be that I'll lose everything, even if it means losing heaven. This is really the source of happiness and the source of fixing up the world the way God wants it. Self-sacrifice, as we'll talk about, God willing, in the next lecture.
Moment of Wisdom. Sub-brief and life-changing moments. Join us. Subscribe to Moment of Wisdom channels on YouTube, Telegram, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp.